Here we are for another episode of Eye on the Community. We're here at the Pottstown, once was the commuter rail train station, to talk about restoring commuter rail. And I have with me Tom Kirby, who's a businessman in the area, who I've asked to come out and speak a little bit about what restoring passenger service would mean to the local businesses throughout the region, from Reading all the way down to the King of Prussia in Philadelphia. So Tom, why don't you tell me a little about what you do and what you think this would do for your business?
As a local businessman, I believe that having a rail line run through Pottstown would be very beneficial for us. It would allow us to draw from more employees from different areas, both trade, semi-professional, and professional. It also would give them the opportunity that they would not have to deal with the traffic on Route 422. Also, real estate investors would be more likely to come in because they would see the opportunity for economic redevelopment here with all the new people that would be moving into the area. Everyone is always looking for the American dream. Why not Pottstown, and why not its surrounding communities?
And so we got the bus behind us. You talked about traffic on 422. You commute in every day.
40 miles each way.
Each way?
Uphill.
And but where you live, there is a train.
There is a train.
And where's that train run to and from?
I can get anywhere around the city at all.
But you can't get out here?
I cannot get out this way.
So imagine how much more time you'd have to think about business, development, just rest and relaxation if you can take a train out to work.
I would work for 3 or 4 more years if I could.
Well, there you go. That's all the more reason why we should do this. Well, thank you very much for coming out today. Appreciate it.
All right.
Here's another segment of Eye on the Community. We're here with Patty Grims. Patty is a school board member in Pottsgrove.
A school board member for 10 years in Pottsgrove.
And how long have you lived out there?
Out in Pottsgrove, about 30 years I've lived in Pottsgrove.
So we're here at the Pottstown train station, which once was a commuter rail train station,
Correct,
passenger rail. What would this mean if we were to restore this?
I think for Pottsgrove, it'd be great to bring industry in. It'd be easy for our students to commute, to go from Reading to Philadelphia, and I think it would increase our property values.
Talk a little about property taxes and how they're based and what the train would do to help with that.
Basically, the train would bring revenue in, but I believe, like taxes, we are just tied as a school board director with you have to make it work in a budget, and it's very, very difficult because Pottsgrove's landlocked.
Okay. And with the opportunity of the train, you think we'd be able to bring more small
yes,
business?
Absolutely. I don't know why this wasn't done before.
Well, this was in the 80s.
It was,
there once
yes.
was a train that ran through here from Pottsville, north of Reading, all the way down to Philadelphia.
Yes.
So the hope is that one day this train can go back on this track and we can get some of those people.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's a win-win.
Well, thank you very much for coming
bet.
today.
Best
Thank
of
you.
luck.
We're here for another segment of Eye on the Community. I'm here with Dr. Colleen Lilly. Dr. Lilly is a professor at Cabrini University. How long have you been over there?
16 years.
16 years, wow.
Yeah.
And where do you live?
I live in Royersford. Well, it's the Limerick, but right 2 blocks down is Royersford, so 7th Avenue.
So talk to us a little bit about what restoring commuter rail would mean to you, the passenger rail that once ran here in the 80s, not only as a resident of Limerick, but also as a professor at Cabrini.
Sure. Well, as a professor, for myself, I can take it in every day. And what a great way for me to get work done while sitting on a train. I'm saving the environment, not using my cars frequently. So it would be a huge opportunity, not just for me, but for my family. My husband works in Plymouth Meeting, so he could take the train. We have 2 kids who are both getting ready for college age. Although they'll be living at college, hopefully, they could take the train home to see us, and it would be less for us to have to bring them back and forth as well. So it would be make a huge impact, great impact on us as a family.
And you make a good point. As my son is at Temple, if he does come home by train, he goes to Norristown, we have to pick him up in Norristown, so it would be nice for him to be able to come all the way out. Not that it's so far away, but still it's an inconvenience.
It's that much closer.
What about the college students themselves do you think that the train would do for them?
Well, I can tell you, in the past few years, we've had a lot of students, especially from this area, who are asking about transportation to Cabrini University. It's not far, it's in Radnor. So it shouldn't be a huge problem to get public transportation there, but it has been an issue. We have a number of students who are using Montgomery County, the western campus here, and then they want to transfer to Cabrini, and they've asked that question, like, how can we get there? So I think that it would do a world of good. This generation seems to be very conscious about the environment, which is great. And so I think it would open up opportunities for them to get there as well.
Well, thank you very much for coming out
Thank
today,
you.
and hopefully you'll be
Thank
able to ride
you.
the train in soon.
That would be great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We're here with another episode of Eye on the Community. We're at the Pottstown train station. I'm here with Gail Wellington. Gail is not only a business owner in the community, but been a resident for a long time, and I wanted to talk to you about a little bit about what it would mean to restore the commuter passenger rail service. And why don't you tell us a little about your history, too, with the community?
Well, I've owned a business in Royersford just down the road. I wish it was just down the tracks. We're going on our 27th year.
Wow.
For me, as a business person, one of the big advantages, we have a flower shop, so we deliver. Anything that would help traffic would be a big boom to us. And the labor pool would expand. It's always hard to get help these days if people could get there by public transport.
Now, you've lived in the area for how many years?
About 30.
And prior to that, and I know we talk a lot about your sister Judy, who moved here from West Virginia.
Right.
But she relocated where?
Center City, Old City, actually,
And what was one of her reasons?
because of all the cultural and activities and things she could do there. She wanted to be someplace where she didn't have to have a car, but she could still do all the things she likes to do.
So when you hear that living out here and you go into the city, what's it mean to you?
Well, I either drive, which could be 40 minutes, it could be 2 hours, pay a lot of money to park, provided I can find a space. They say they're there, but they're not there when you want them. Or I drive to Norristown and go in on the train, which as a senior citizen is a bargain. However, it takes me as long to drive to Norristown as it does to get to Center City on the train.
So if the train were here, you think you'd use the facilities of the city?
Frequently.
Well, thank you very much for coming out, and I'm hoping that you will be able to ride that train into the city, see some of the different performances, and your sister will be able to take the train out to visit it here.
You know, Joe, it's a big advantage to senior citizens. One of my neighbor's husbands recently ended up at Temple Hospital. She will not drive in the city. She's elderly. She could not go see him because there was no public transport available.
And that's another big thing that really needs to be considered. I mean, we see the buses that arrive over here, but the buses take hours to get down to the city, and that's a shame that she can't go down and see him. And I can understand sitting in that traffic on 422.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank
Gail.
you.
Good to see you. Thank you. We're here with Eye on the Community at the Pottstown train station, what used to be a passenger commuter rail. I'm here with Sam and Raj, 2 students, recent graduates a couple of years ago, right? Each year, well, you were a
Same
year
school.
ago, you were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk to us a little bit about what the commuter rail, passenger rail service being restored here to the area through Royersford would mean to the both of you? Raj, what would it be?
I think it means a lot to our generation because we're very environmentally conscious, so it feels great to know that putting a commuter rail here could reduce the traffic on 422 by, what is it, 10%?
Oh,
Which
it'd
to
be
me
more
is
than that,
insane,
depending on how
if
much
not
it would run.
more. So that's really great to hear that, and also just to have access to more internship opportunities, to volunteer opportunities in the city, and to really get connected with our community.
Sam?
Well, it means a lot to me because I live in Royersford and I go to school right here. Like this is part of my school right behind us. So it would mean a lot because I would be able to go right from Royersford to here, and I'd be saving even more money by coming to community college. And then I could also save a lot more money by going to school in the city and not having to live there and spend all that money. I could just be commuting right there.
Now, you had spoken about you did an internship in Philadelphia last year?
I did last summer.
So how was that? I mean, how was the internship, but how was it to get in and out of the city?
It was a huge pain because there's no direct way to get into the city from our area right here, the Royersford, Pottstown, Limerick area. So I had to drive every day, and at a certain point I just ended up working from home because it was such a pain to commute.
So you didn't have the full opportunity of what you would have had.
Exactly. I didn't have the full chance to participate and to learn from that experience that I could have.
Now, both of you are, of course, much younger than me. I mean, I don't know if you knew that, but yes, you are. But, you know, you're active, you do things. How often are you in and out of Philadelphia? Or not even Philadelphia, anywhere that the train line would go that if you went out of Lansdale or Norristown or Tredyffrin, that you really have to drive in or maybe don't go anymore? I mean, what's your schedules like now?
Actually, well, one of the huge things is I have to go to Pottstown campus, basically, because the commute to get to Bluebell is terrible. And it's just because of the roads. There's no direct road to really get to the Bluebell campus. So it takes way longer. I'm the same distance away, but it takes 45 minutes sometimes.
Does it
Rush
limit the
hour.
classes that you could take?
It absolutely, because that's the main campus. I'm taking more like gen ed classes here, basic classes, and it really narrows down what I'm allowed to take. And going there, it takes forever, and it's a huge like suck on my day and on my time, and I can't be working, and I can't be focusing on school because I'm commuting a lot.
Now you go to Carnegie
I go
Mellon?
to Carnegie Mellon, which is in Pittsburgh, as
Right,
you know.
which the train would not run to Pittsburgh. But
Exactly.
where, when you do go back and forth, can you take a train from home to here?
The closest train is out from Paoli, which again I need to drive, I need to park my car, and I physically can't do that being in Pittsburgh, so I just end up having to take a 7 to 8 hour bus at times.
Wow, so this would really cut down your ride a lot.
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming out today, and I hope that you get to see and you will have an opportunity to ride on this passenger rail once it's restored. Thank you both very much.
you.
Good to see
Thanks.
you. Thank you. We're here for another episode of Eye on the Community. We're here at the Pottstown, what once was the passenger commuter rail station. I'm with Larry Cohen and Adam Doyle. Both gentlemen are residents of this community. Larry, who grew up in this community and rode the train for most of his younger life when the train was here. Adam, a resident of Perkiomen. And I'm going to ask both you gentlemen, and I'll start with you, Adam. From a perspective of when you moved here, what would this rail be and what would it mean to you if we were able to restore it?
Chances are I'd still be working in Center City, Philadelphia. Having a 40-minute drive into Norristown to take a 30-minute train became a drag every single day. We know what it's like to be on 422 every day. Picking up a train in Royersford, Phoenixville, or even up here into town, I'd probably still be working in Center City instead of looking to stay out here and try to get some of that time back in my day.
Now, do you think it limited your opportunities for as far as employment?
Absolutely, 100%. I was in the hospitality industry. I was in hotels, and the hotels that you want to work in are in the city. There are hotels that are out here, but not in my line, not in my specialty area.
And how long have you been out in Perkiomen area?
I moved out here in 2002, and I worked in Center City until about 2014.
So you did the drive-in for about 12
Absolutely.
years.
Absolutely, it's terrible.
And Larry, let me ask you, so you grew up here in Pottstown?
Correct.
So you remember this train?
Yes, the Reading Railroad.
And talk to us a little bit about what it was and what it meant to you as a teen.
Well,
and a
certainly
resident.
that was before 422 was completed. So the only way to get into Philadelphia was to take Ridge Pike, the old 422, or to take the train. The train went from this station right into Reading Station, downtown Philadelphia. Never thought twice. In fact, you could take the train into Philly, then change trains and go right up to New York City without ever getting into a car. So it's certainly a completely different way of travel then than we experience today.
So you moved away for your career, your life, your family, and you came back to the
Correct,
general
yes.
area.
Yes.
What do you see now as the issues and the deficiencies and how you think the train would impact what we do today?
Well, certainly I think the train would help reduce congestion on 422 and the Schuylkill Expressway. Also, as Adam just said, just going into Norristown or Lansdale to try to catch SEPTA, it creates its own troubles. You do have to drive to get there. You have to park. Today you have to park in Center City if you were trying to get down to Philadelphia, which is another odyssey. It would eliminate a lot of those bottlenecks. And also, there's nothing more pleasant than taking the train. From the point of view of a commuter, it would be almost enjoyable to sit on a train compared to actually being behind the wheel of a car.
I'm going to ask you something that we maybe catch you off guard a little bit, but your father owned a business in Pottstown for years, a shoe store if I'm not mistaken. When the train disappeared, what was the effect on the business?
I don't think the disappearance of the Reading Railroad had an immediate impact at that time. Population was a little bit less dense in the area. 422 had just opened. So I think it was over time, as congestion on our roads got worse, that the impact of the absence of the train was felt. I think at the time in the 1970s and 80s, train service had been going down, but I think today it needs to be rejuvenated.
And we've seen an increase across the nation in train service. As a matter of fact, we see in King of Prussia, there's a proposal to go 4 miles from Norristown into King of Prussia, and then there's talk again in Phoenixville to add a spur out from Tredyffrin Township.
That's true. And also we have the good example of the extension of the Silver Line in Virginia out to Dulles Airport in Loudoun County. Again, a line that would be just as long as the one here to an area that is booming, and the recognition that you need rail in order to sustain the economic growth.
Well, I want to thank you both, and I look forward to the day we can ride together on that train.
Absolutely.
Get back to work in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Thank you
and
very
ride
much,
in.
Joe.
Thank you both very much. I'm Joe Ciresi. I'm a candidate for the Pennsylvania State House. I'm standing here in what was the passenger rail station for Pottstown, which ran from Pottsville all the way into Philadelphia. As your state representative, I'll fight hard to restore passenger rail service. So once again, our community has the opportunities to take the train in for work, for pleasure, to go wherever they'd like to go, and to reduce traffic on what we all know as 422, the bottleneck. I'll work hard as your state representative with the local boroughs and municipalities and other state representatives to make sure that this area finally has what we need, which is better transportation and the opportunity to be able to take a train into work, take a train into pleasure. Like other areas around the greater Philadelphia area who have trains, they've seen what a train can do, not only for them as far as working, but also the opportunity for business and the economic impact. We've seen over and over again in article after article that having train and passenger service helps increase the property value of our community. I look forward to the opportunity to serve you this November in Harrisburg. Thank you for your support.